Hey YouTube, it's Tracy from Entrepreneur Girl, and today is Tracy's Tuesday Tips, and we are going to be talking about long-term fee assessments and your Amazon FBA seller account. I'm videoing from my hotel room in Tampa, Florida, and I was going through emails and comments from all of you, and I see everything that you write to me, whether it's down below or on the Amazon 360 Facebook group, or Tracy@entrepreneurgirl.net. I see everything real time, even if it takes me a little bit to get back to you. But I want you to know that I really appreciate all the comments and the support and the questions that you have, because I want to provide good content for you that you need, and your comments lets me peek into what your needs are right now so that I can make a video about it. So there's been a lot of hoopla about long-term fee assessment recently because the date is normally August 15th of every year. It's been extended this year, and I'll show you that in a second, to today, the 18th, but I wanted to pop this video out because there's been a lot of questions about long-term assessments. There's actually been a lot of questions about Amazon Seller Central and your Amazon Seller Central account for FBA. So I'm going to be putting out a lot of videos about that, on how to set up your account, or the best way to set up your account, and how to go through all the reports and understand them all, and things like long-term fee assessments. Every year, February 15th and August 15th, Amazon sets up a fee for your account where you will have to pay long-term fee assessment. So basically what the long-term storage fees are is Amazon trying to motivate you to move your inventory fast before these 6 and 12-month dates. They want you to clean up your inventory by disposing of it or having it sent back to you, but they don't want to store every item, every unit endlessly, especially ones that aren't selling. Basically apply this penalty or this motivation factor to you to give you some pressure to manage your inventory smarter. Let me show you about this system. So here we are on my computer, and as you can see, this is the email that I received from Amazon. And it is telling you that the dates are August 15th and February 15th of every single year. They extended it this year because of a little mistake that they had and had rectified to today, August 18th. And this basically just explains that you are going to have a fee. It's going to happen. And if you don't want it, that you need to make some changes on your account in order to avoid getting it. It gives you some helpful links down here on the bottom. We're going to be looking at those, but you can also write them down and look at them yourself. It's the recommended removal report and the inventory health report, and also just the page that talks about FBA long-term storage fees. So here they are. This is the long-term storage fees removal. You can see that it's in general topics down here under FBA features and fees. And we're going to be summarizing everything for you on this video, but you can look at these links yourself. The second site they gave you was the fees for the return, which we're also going to be talking about, and this is under the same category. And same thing here. Basically breaks down like this. If you have one item, one of a unit in the warehouse on your Amazon FBA, you will not be charged. So many people are confused by that. I could have 100,000 items in the Amazon warehouse and never get a long-term storage fee if I only have one of every item. You do have 2 or more of an item, you will be charged if your item does not sell within 6 months. You will get charged $11.25 per cubic foot. If your item doesn't sell within 12 months, you will get charged $22.50 per cubic foot. Good news about FBA fees, if there is good news, is I pay very little yearly on these long-term fees. You know, it's really just a few $100s on these fees. It's not astronomical. And I just think about what I would spend if I had to obtain a storage unit in Florida or had space in my house, or, you know, just the freedom of having them someplace else and not underfoot in such an organized way that Amazon has them. So to be able to store them in someone else's warehouse in a very organized fashion, very controlled. I mean, Amazon is the #1 place, right? It's really such a small fee. It would cost me thousands to try to duplicate that myself. So on the one hand, I don't sweat these fees. I don't let it stop me. There's a lot of money to be made in long-tail products. There's also a lot of money to be made in buying volume of, you know, a single unit. Okay, the bad news, these fees can add up and bite you in the butt, which is why we're doing this video. If you're not mindful, it can really hurt your bottom line pretty rapidly. So we're going to talk about how to avoid that. The first thing you want to do is pay attention to your reports. So when you are on your Amazon Seller Central, you will tab over to reports and you will see over here all the different reports for your account. There's also an Amazon fulfilled inventory, and you can kind of watch the video. You want to be looking at these reports. You want to be putting it in your calendar, on your phone, wherever, because you want to be checking in on your inventory, at least I do, every 90 days. So I look, I see what's happening with it, and I do like an inventory cleanse every 90 days. One way you can do that is by looking at your recommended removal report. This is again under your Amazon Seller Central, under reports. It's down here under removals. So you can see, this is mine. I have 13 items that they are recommending removal of. It tells you the date, the item, and it tells you and shows you over here the sellable age, how long it's been. So you can see that these items have been in the warehouse for 365 days. All of these items have, but it tells you how long they've been in there. And this is what it's saying. I would recommend you remove, and you can click on this button to begin the removal process. Another report that would be helpful to you is your inventory health. This is under reports again, under inventory right here. And again, it shows you what item it is, and it tells you what condition and how long it's been in there. It shows you the price, so you can calculate, do I really want to obtain any more fees for this item, or is it not worth it? And then you can make decisions based on your reports. So those two reports are really important. The thing you can do is put your items on sale at the 90-day mark. So you know it's well before the 6-month fee assessment. You start to put your items on sale in hopes that the lowered price will sell more items. They will sell before any fees are assessed. Another thing you can do is when you go to add a product, you can see here under, you know, your price, where you set the price, you can go ahead and put a sell price when you're listing your item. So that way you don't have to worry about going back at 90 days. You can just go ahead when you're listing it and put your sell price and then put your sell date 90 days out and the end date whenever you want it to end. And that way it's kind of done as you're listing and you won't have to worry about it later. And that will help increase your sales as you're getting closer to that 6-month mark. Okay, so now we want to talk about choosing our inventory better. The first thing we're going to take into consideration is the ranking. What is the ranking of the unit you're interested in? The closer to 1 that it is, the faster the item should sell. This is just a tool that we use to show you how fast the ranking can change. So here's a little test. When you're on Amazon, go ahead and put several items in your cart and then watch them. Watch them for a couple of days, and then in like a week, go back and see how the ranking has changed. If it has changed, see if it's still for sale by the same seller, or if the item has already sold out from that particular seller. See if the price has changed at all. When you start actually monitoring other people's items over any amount of time, you do realize how much it fluctuates. And then you really do get a sense for how these tools change, and how when people talk about ranking and different people say, oh, well, don't pay attention to it, or wow, pay tons of attention to it, you get a better personal sense on what you should do with your own business because you're watching it happen firsthand. So I personally watch ranking. I like ranking. I like any tool that I can use to make me a better seller. And ranking is an indicator of how fast an item sells. So you want to be mindful of that. You want to be choosing items that have better rankings for your inventory. Second thing, you want to be increasing your net profit per item. Try to make at least $10 on every single item that I purchase or not purchase it. The only exception to this would be books for me, but if I can't make at least a $10 profit, I put it down. I try to make closer to a $20 profit per item. I always want to be increasing that mark. And the reason why is if I get comfortable buying items that make me $2 or $5, I'm not really pushing myself. And when you push yourself, you're forced to do your research, you're forced to shop harder, maybe shop longer. It will force you into an uncomfortable situation, which sounds like, why would I do that? But what it does is it makes you learn how to choose better inventory. And if you didn't force yourself to do that, you would be stuck in getting these very narrow profit margins forever. And as you learn through doing this for a long time, that the smaller your profit margin, the lower the profit per item that you're making, you're still getting essentially the same fees off of each item. And so the fees are like, well, wow, it's a 50% fee, when in reality, if you start choosing better inventory, the fees will actually go down to 30% or 20%, and it's just a much more comfortable place to be as a seller, but you won't get there unless you force yourself to kind of take that next step and try to get a higher profit item per unit. Selling strategies. I'll try to put out some videos about selling strategies, but there are books written, other videos about it. Selling strategies are huge. You can use social media to sell your product. You can put your product on sale to move it. Not being the lowest price will move it. So all of these different selling strategies you can learn to be moving your inventory and to get better with your inventory, with managing your inventory. And again, the 3 times rule, you're probably sick of hearing that one, but if you can't sell an item for 3 times what you bought an item for, then don't buy it. So if you're at Walmart and you see something for $10 and you can list it for $30, yay! But if you can't do that, seriously, walk away from it. All right, so what do you do if you have a fee coming up? Well, you have 3 options. Amazon says you can dispose of the item. They will get rid of it for you, and this will cost you 15 cents per standard item, up to 30 cents for an oversized item. Your second option is to have the item sent back to you. This will cost you 50 cents for a standard item, up to 60 cents for an oversized item. Your third option is to keep it and lower the price. It takes time and money to have things sent back to you and have to relist them. Or you're out the expense of the inventory of purchasing it, of your cost of goods, and that's also expensive. Amazon says that an oversized unit is greater than 20 pounds, 18 inches at its longest side, 4 inches at its smallest side, and 14 inches at its medium size. So use that in your calculations. The thing I do if I do get these fees is I track them and I print them up and I hand them over to my CPA as a business expense incurred. And this will help me with my taxes. Okay, one more thing before I let you go. Here is what you can do is if you just don't want to worry about these fees, you can go to your Amazon Seller Central account and sign in, and then you can go to the upper right hand corner that has settings, scroll down to Fulfillment by Amazon, and then go to automated long-term storage, and then just to the right of that there is an edit button. And what this allows you to do is set your personal preferences for your own account. What I have personally done is if it's under a certain dollar value, I will have them destroy it. If it's over a certain dollar value, I will have them ship it back to me. And that is how I've kind of dealt with these fees. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to maintain it. I don't have to stay on top of it so much. If I accidentally get busy or I forget or I miss the email or whatever, this is kind of a safety net for me in knowing that I have set it up with my Amazon seller account that just the way that I want it. So I wanted to show you that before we ended here. Thank you for watching today's video. As always, this is my way of doing things. It's not necessarily the only way or the best way, but I hope it's some help to you. Have a rockin' week selling, and I'll see you next time. Bye.